Welcome back to the MCU. I'm Marius and this is my cinematic universe, and today we're going to be talking about the one piece of prop slash costume, depending on who you ask and what the department needs to handle this item, that you can wear every day from your favorite movie or TV show. How many of you guys are wearing something from your favorite TV show or movie every day on your wrist? Show of hands, please. I currently wear something from a movie that I like, but it's not my top movie or anything, and I actually didn't know that this was a prop from the movie until very recently. But this prop crosses into several worlds that I am into, and that's why I wear it every day. Flashback to my childhood. My grandfather was a watchmaker, and my uncle is a watchmaker. So I was around a lot of watches growing up, and I was wearing watches until my teens, when the cell phone kind of came out. You know, that old Nokia one with the buttons and the tiny little screen, which had a clock. And maybe I didn't need a watch anymore. Plus, all the watches I was wearing up until that point was Swatches, and I never really got into the kind of higher end or more like real watches. And then about like 10, 12 something years ago, I bought myself a Omega Speedmaster, the Moon Watch, and it was a great watch. I really enjoyed having that watch, but it was a bit expensive for just wearing it every day at that point in my life, and I didn't want to get it all scratched up and damaged, so I ended up selling it and then not wearing a watch forever until Swatch released the Moon Swatch. So I don't know if any of you guys have followed the whole Moon Swatch craze that happened. Feels like it was years ago, but it was just like 2 years ago maybe. And I was trying to get one of the Moon Swatches for a long time, which I couldn't get. I couldn't find it anywhere. I ended up buying 2 Moon Swatches in Panama when I was there. Last year, I bought the Mission to Mars and the Saturn. The Saturn I still have. I put a strap on it, which is a fun watch. I really enjoy it. I was wearing it for a bit, and then the watch bug kind of bit me. It got me, and I started looking into other watches that I've been wanting to get for a long time. And it also coincided with me starting this channel. And then it hit me that I should just start getting watches from my favorite movies and TV shows. And the first one I got was, because of this channel, was the Knight Rider watch. One of you guys commented and said that you wear this every day as your daily watch, which is awesome. I love that. And it's kind of like incognito. It kind of looks just like a Casio. So if you don't know, you don't know. You just think it's some kind of 80s looking Casio watch. So this is a very stealth everyday watch that you can wear. This one I picked up from Dr. Collector, and it was like 30 bucks or something. It's pretty good. I don't know the quality if you wear it every day, but it's still running. This is a very cool little incognito everyday watch you can wear if you are a big Knight Rider fan. One of my all-time favorite shows, also from the 80s, MacGyver. So I was starting to look around on eBay and the forums and all the websites about MacGyver, trying to figure out like what kind of watch was he actually wearing. I remember it vaguely, and it's a Timex. I was able to score a vintage Timex on eBay just like MacGyver has, or had, because he actually pawned this in one of the episodes.
I had to hawk my watch to get out of the gas station.
And he never bought a new one, but this is also a pretty cool piece. This is a vintage, by now, 80s plastic wind-up Timex watch. It's waterproof, and it's got both 24 and 48-hour dials. But in case you don't know military time, this is a great little watch where you can see that 12 is also 24, which it kind of never is. I guess it's the 24th hour, but it just zeroes out, right? So it is never 24. But 13 is 1 because it follows 12. MacGyver. Very cool. One of my all-time favorite watches, I think, and one of my all-time favorite franchises, and my all-time favorite James Bond, Pierce Brosnan. I was able to find on eBay, there are plenty of these ones out there, and they're pretty affordable these days. I picked up the Omega Seamaster 300. This one I picked up for $900, which is a lot of money, but it's a luxury watch. I had to get it serviced though. Changed out the movement, and they replaced the bezel, polished it up, changed the hands. It's basically a brand new watch at this point, but it is very cool. I love this watch. I love the design. With GoldenEye, Omega introduced this blue wavy dial, which is now iconic to the Seamaster watches. This watch just does it all. It's dressy, it's casual, it's a tool watch. The best thing about this watch, which makes it even more James Bond, is that it's a quartz. And this is why a lot of people hate this watch or don't like it as much, because of the quartz movement, which makes it more accurate than the automatic wind-up watch, but it also makes it a lot less expensive. So if you are in the market for like a nice luxury watch and you're a big fan of James Bond and Pierce Brosnan, this is actually a 1995 watch as well. I kind of lucked out on that one. I checked the serial number and this watch was produced in 1995. Even though I guess the GoldenEye watch would technically have been made in 94, probably, but since they shot it in 94 probably. But yeah, James Bond's watch. I love this piece. The rest of the watches here are the moon swatches. I finally got the moon swatch by itself, and the Blancpain Ocean of Storm watch. I was able to get that one on release day. There was nobody there, so this is my travel watch now. I also have this watch, which it's a work in progress, and once I get it sorted, I will show you guys. But this is at least the same style. Maybe you guys can know what kind of watch this is. Somebody was wearing this watch in a very uncomfortable place for a very long time. This is the watch from Pulp Fiction. This is a early 1900s trench watch, they call it. It's like a World War I watch. There are a lot of different ones out there. The one from Pulp Fiction is the Lancy, and it has the red 12-hour marker. I think it had the numbers are just in white. Here it's in gold, so I'm gonna get that fixed. It also has I think it's an acrylic glass here that's all yellowed, so I gotta get that changed to a glass one. So I'm looking for a parts watch, or maybe just the exact model to swap this out with, and to get the metal bracelet that Bruce Willis put on it. This is a work in progress, and it's so tiny. Look at this. But my everyday watch is this guy. And this watch, for me, is the ultimate everyday combination of all of my passions watch. This watch is the Porsche design Chronograph 1. This watch is special in many ways. One, this is the watch that Tom Cruise wears in Top Gun, the original one, and he also wears it in Top Gun Maverick. In fact, he was even saying in an interview that he had to go to Jerry Bruckheimer, who actually ended up owning the watch. I don't know if it was his watch to begin with or if it became his watch after the movie, but he had to go to Jerry Bruckheimer, who picked it out of his safe to give it to Tom to use it in Top Gun Maverick, which I think is very cool that he went back and got like the watch that was in the first one.
And the watch that I wear is the original watch, but Jerry Bruckheimer has that watch. So I had to go, Jerry, need the watch for the movie.
And he wants it back as soon as you're done shooting.
No. The second I was done shooting that day, he held it.
I was oblivious of this watch, but apparently there's been a whole thing about this watch online and in certain watch communities and the movie communities about like exactly which watch this is. So this watch was designed by Ferdinand Alexander Butzi Porsche. He is the grandson of Ferdinand Porsche, who started, well, Porsche. And in fact, Butzi, or Ferdinand Alexander Porsche, designed the Porsche 911. And I have been a Porsche fan since I was like 2 years old. I don't know why. Nobody in my family ever had one. Nobody in my family was really into cars, except my uncle, who's a watchmaker, but he never had any of those fancy cars. I don't think it rubbed off on me, the car passion from him, even though we have talked about it. And I've always liked that brand, and I've always liked that car, the 911, for no reason, just because it was cool. This has followed me throughout my life, and I have been hoarding and collecting 944s and front engine water-cooled Porsches, and it's been a whole thing. In the late 60s, early 70s, there was like a whole change up in the Porsche company structure, and the family was kind of let go. And Ferdinand ended up starting Porsche Design, like a design studio. And the first product that he designed and launched was the Porsche Design Chronograph 1. And not only that, so this was the first watch, the first wristwatch to be all black. Before that, no wristwatch had ever been all black. people say different things about the material, but some say that it was powder coated, some say it was some sort of PVD or something, but whatever it was completely black. Casing was black, bracelet was black, the dial was black. The only thing that's white are the numbers, chapter ring, the tachometer ring, and with the red hand as a tribute to the 911. It was also the first watch to use this now kind of legendary movement, the Valjoux 7750, which they used for a few years until there was some drama in the company where the movement was made, and the guy that designed it was told to destroy all the molds and all the machine parts and everything. So they couldn't make this movement anymore for, I don't remember what the reason was, but it was just completely removed. So Porsche Design had to change the watch. They made it a little thicker, put this other movement called the Lamy 5100, I think. With that, the watch kept getting made. It was made for several years after that with this other movement, but the watch was thicker. It was a different watch. Back to the movie. So nobody knew what watch Tom Cruise was actually wearing in Top Gun, because you just saw that it was the Porsche Design watch, but you couldn't tell which watch it was. Was it the early one or was it the later one? And on top of that, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of watches from this. So the early watches said Orfina on them, which was the manufacturer that Porsche Design was using to make these watches. A small little watch company in Switzerland. And then I don't know how long after this watch kind of came in, like 71, 72. That's when it was released. And then shortly after, they released a watch with the PD logo, the Porsche Design logo on there. And then, to make the matters even crazier, this chapter ring or tachometer ring or whatever you want to call it has different markings. So it has one that just says tachymeter or tachometer. Let me know in the comments how you pronounce that. They had one that said kilometer, and then they had one that says miles. And nobody really knew until 4K scans of the original Top Gun came out and Top Gun Maverick started coming out, where they could see just crisp 4K details, and it was the 7750, and that's because this top chronograph here has a different markings and it marks time differently than the 5100. And you could also tell that it had the PD logo and not Orfina written on it. And some sleuths noticed the spacing here on the tachometer ring or the chapter ring, and they found out that it's the 1 mile and not the 1 kilometer chapter ring. So right around me getting back into watches, getting my Omega, I started looking just what's out there in watches, you know, getting kind of sucked into the rabbit hole of watches, and I came across this watch, and I came across the Top Gun reference, and it's in a bunch of other ones. It's in Beverly Hills Cop 2, which is also a Jerry Bruckheimer film, and it's in several other things in that era. But yeah, I came across this whole thing, and I started my hunt for the 1 mile PD logo 7750 Porsche Design watch. So this one is an early watch. This is maybe like 72, 73, maybe up to 75. There's no way of telling exactly how old it is. I had this one restored. There's one guy in New York that's been working on these watches since the 70s, and he's like the go-to guy for these watches. So I had it sent in to him. He did like a whole overhaul of the movement. He sent it in to get a new black coating because it was all fading and chipping, and a new old stock bracelet. So now this is like new, and I love it because it just intersects with all my passions, my newfound passion, or my regained passion maybe, for watches, my love for the brand of Porsche, and movies, and the fact that this is, I don't know if it's a key prop to Maverick as a character, but it was enough that Tom Cruise had to go and get the exact watch he was wearing almost 40 years ago for the new movie. I think it's pretty cool that you can get some piece of kind of movie history that's a real thing that exists out there that you can wear and nobody would know. You can wear this prop or costume depending on which department you're talking about, what the actual item is doing in the movie. Either maybe it's a wardrobe piece, or in the event of James Bond, it's an actual prop. And you can wear this every day and just feel connected to props, movies, the whole hobby. So if you're wearing a watch from one of your favorite movies or TV shows, let me know what your favorite watch is. Even if you aren't wearing it every day, let me know in the comments below and I will check it out.